What's up, guys? So it's hard to believe this is day 25. It's been 25 days of meditating and really just committing to growth. And I just wanted to share today the main lessons I've taken away from these 25 days. And the main thing I've taken away, and I'm positive and certain of this without a doubt, is that deep down we are all complete. We are all love. We are all fulfilled. We are all created to fly. We were born with wings. And what I'm realizing more and more is that all we need to do to truly shine and truly blossom is to remove our blockages to our inherent nature, which is love and connection and fulfillment. And I'm reminded of a quote by the great Rumi, who's a fantastic poet from thousands of years ago. I wrote a blog post about one of his quotes, his verses yesterday. But this will not be exactly correct, but what he said is our mission is not to seek love, but to simply figure out what obstacles we've created against it and remove them. So it's not the journey to self-realization, to fulfillment, to completeness, to love, whatever words you want to use for that. It's not about adding anything. It's about getting in touch with what we already are and then living from that place. And this has been so deeply ingrained within me throughout this almost month. It's so true. And I used to think that if you feel complete and fulfilled and full of love, what will be your motivation to do anything? And I think that's a very common hang up that people have. They say, well, sure, if I feel good about myself, that makes sense, but then why would I be motivated to do anything? And what I would say from my own personal experience is, if anything, when you feel complete and fulfilled and you feel full of love, you are more inspired and more full of energy than any other time in your entire life. And I'm not speaking from a place of being complete, fulfilled, full of love all the time, but what the practice of meditation and centering prayer and some breathing exercises and some just morning exercises has done for me is make this state of love more of a consistent state that I'm living from. And I think that's why all the great teachers and the great teachings from history talk about you have to have a practice. And I've touched on this before. It's a daily commitment, because the world and anything outside of us is going to create barriers and obstacles against love and our inherent state. And our daily ritual is our attempt to clear that out and get in touch with our inherent being again. So that's the main takeaway. And I've talked a lot in my videos about why we are so disconnected from this state due to trauma, due to just picking up beliefs from the world, from other people, from marketing, from our culture, just from being a human being. We've picked up these false ideas on what we need to be happy. And then those ideas get stuck in our brains and we believe we need something to be happy. But ironically and counterintuitively, if we can just remove those blockages to what's preventing us from feeling love right now, and make it our mission to connect with that space, to connect with love, I mean, life becomes a fantastic adventure. More and more every day, I'm just filled with so much excitement and joy to see what I can learn and discover and how I can connect more deeply with myself and in the same vein with other people, because we're all deep down the same. And there's nothing more important, nothing more important than connecting to your deepest, deepest soul and who you really are. There's nothing more important than managing the lens through which you see the world, because it literally affects every single moment of your life. Nothing external happens without being a reflection of where you're at internally and how your mind and your heart and your soul are attuned to the moment. Now, I know this can seem kind of esoteric for someone who hasn't done any type of inner work, any type of meditation, prayer, self-inquiry, journaling, challenging their beliefs. It can seem like it's very difficult, that there's so much to do, and it can feel overwhelming. And you might think a lot of what I'm saying is complete crap too, which I totally understand. If you would have told me, if you would have told me 5, 10 years ago that success and fulfillment doesn't lie in getting girls or making money or looking really ripped and being really good looking and having a good self-image, I would have told you you were insane. But crazily enough, from where I'm living in most of the time now, psychologically, I really do just feel whole most of the time. And once again, I'm not there. There is no place to get. It's a constant process of coming back to that place. But I feel like these 25 days I've been able to connect with that space a lot more quickly and more easily and stay there for longer periods of time. And that's why I'm so committed to these morning rituals. So I think what I'm going to do is, with these remaining 25 days, rather than dive into why we get broken and why we get splintered and why we get disconnected from this place of love and wholeness and balance and equanimity, any words you want to use, rather than talk about why this happens to us, I want to focus on how we can reconnect to this space, because it's been life-changing for me. Just my day-to-day experience of being myself is so different. How I interact with the world is so different. It's literally mind-blowing, literally. So I'd like to talk more about what kind of practices we can put into place, you can put into place to make sure that you're connected with this place as much as possible. Because it is, I think it's truly our privilege to live in that space. I think that's what we're here for. And that's where all the magic and the joy and the fulfillment and the love, that's where all of that springs from. And if you can live from that place as much as possible, you will you will sense that transcendent feeling that all the sages and mystics have talked about in spirituality and religion. You know, in the Bible, they say you will have the peace that passes all understanding. And I know I've touched that space many times, and it's unbelievable. You just feel so connected. You feel centered. You feel grounded. You feel balanced. Nothing changes on the outside, but you just feel much more capable and solid. And really, words can't describe it. But you have access to that space at all times. We've just built up so many blockages against it and so many obstacles to it. And I will make it my mission from here on out to teach about how to get into this space. And half of it's going to be so that I don't forget. Because I was just listening to a podcast about a guy who was talking about similar concepts, and he said he kind of started to coast with his practices, and then he let things slide, and his world went into chaos. So it's important that we keep practicing these things, connecting to love, connecting to who we are, connecting to the moment. And I'm going to be teaching myself and reminding myself as much as I'm teaching anyone else. And I hope if this resonates with you, that you will either comment or send me a message or text me or just like this video. I would love to start a small group. I've actually had a couple friends reach out, and I'd love to just talk about this, because this is life. This affects everything. So I truly and deeply love each and every one of you. And whatever you're going through, if you're truly open to change, and if you've always wondered if there's something you're missing, stick around, keep checking out my videos, and we will connect to this space together. We will reclaim the inherent power we all have, which is love. Have a great night, guys.